you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can.
Okay, so thank you very much, Losang, for coming today and teaching us like every week about Shantideva. I'll do now a short introduction in Hebrew, and then I'll pass,
Yeah.
give you the permission to start.
Mhm.
So, ערב טוב לכולם, שמח לראות אתכם שוב לעוד שיעור של לוסאנג עם הערות וביקורת על ספר של שאנטי-דבה, הפרק על הסובלנות. אני רק אגיד שכרגיל השיעור הזה והשיעורים האחרים של לוסאנג משודרים בשידור חי בערוץ היוטיוב של ידידי הדרמה, ושם תמצאו מגוון רחב של שיעורים עם מורים ואחרים מכל העולם שהידידי הדרמה עובדים איתם, ויש להם, אפשר למצוא שם המון חומר ומידע לתרגל וללמוד ממנו במהלך התקופה הזאת, אז זה ממליץ בחום. כמו כן, אני אזכיר שכל הפעילות שלנו נעשית בתוך נדיבות והתנדבות, ולא תג מחיר, אבל כן עולה כסף, וכן דרוש העמותה צריכה לכלכל את עצמה, וכן אנחנו רוצים גם להגיד ולהביע תודה באופן חומרי למורים שלנו ולאנשים שמלמדים אותנו, ולכן אנחנו נשמח מאוד אם כל אחד יתרום כראות עיניו לפי נדיבות הלב בדנה, ואת הפרטים לכך ניתן למצוא באתר של ידידי הדרמה, אני אשלח עוד מעט קישור בצ'אט, ובנוסף גם אני אשלח קישור של לפייפל ישיר למורה שלנו, להביע לה תודה באופן ישיר. וזהו, זה עד כאן אני, החלק היבש שלי, ועכשיו נעבור לשיעור המעניין לבשר. Thank you very much, Shani, for being patient, and let's start.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Tom. Well, hello everybody. So we will be looking again at Shantideva's 6th chapter of how to develop patience. And we will again start with just the very basic awareness meditation to open up our hearts, to relax, to be okay with ourselves, kind of to touch on our positive sides. Because I think, again, it's so dangerous when I say these things, like to touch on our positive side. It is as if, the negative side shouldn't be there and we have to do something about this immediately. And then we get all tense and we start to have beliefs about ourselves, how we are, which are not helpful, and all these kinds of things. Because the text is quite demanding, you see, because it's not just ordinary everyday patience that we kind of try to develop. It's the patience of a Bodhisattva. And in case you don't know what a Bodhisattva is a person who has as the reason for his existence or his life or his main practice or what he wants to do is then to attain full awakening, like to become a fully enlightened Buddha, to be able to be of benefit to all sentient beings. Like, whenever somebody like this can help, they would help, whether it's a good person, a bad person, somebody that loves you, somebody that hates you. And actually, one of the qualities, when we talk about qualities of a Buddha, of a fully awakened being, one of them is that he doesn't, he or she, because also women can become Buddhas, it's not important for them whether you are kind to them, whether you praise them, whether you think they're fantastic and beautiful, or whether they think, other people think that you're totally off the wall and what you're saying is just nonsense and these kind of things. They don't care, it doesn't matter. Their wish to be of benefit to the beings is exactly the same. like not even, sometimes we could say, oh, but it must be stronger for the one who behaves in a really bad way. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I tell you when I'm a Buddha. But at least, it doesn't make any distinction. This one is worthy of my affection and my kind of, I will help him or not. And for that, of course, our self-centered attitude, with this is not possible. And self-centered attitude, kind of me first, or including in the me, of course, we can include my children, my family, my group, my people from the same religion, from the same fans of the football club, or whatever, whatever we call mine, whatever we include there. Like this is ordinary thinking. Everybody is thinking like that, and we even, we are taught to, we learn to that we have to defend ourselves, and this is our rights, and these kind of things. So a Buddha's mind is absolutely not like this. So this is what we have to be aware also when we listen to this text, and when we try to practice it. Yeah, it's not. It is actually to go against our, ordinary popular attitudes towards enemies and other troublemakers or people who make problems, because those we usually kind of chuck them out of our heart. Yeah. And so it's very difficult to change these attitudes, because this has become such an instinctive reflex that we kind of, even retaliation against them seems logic. And this is what we discussed a little bit last time when somebody harms us. And this time we will go more into the verses when somebody slanders us or kind of harms us with words. Yeah. So Shantideva, actually, he is talking to himself. Yeah. So you, from your side, you take whatever is helpful, and whatever you find is not helpful, and whatever you feel uncomfortable with, before you throw it out, maybe examine it. Why am I resisting to that? What are my views? What are my beliefs? How I should handle the situation? And then, so this is what we're doing now, the reflection or the basic awareness of checking our motivation, our intentions. What do I really want? What is really important to me? Because very often we are influenced by society, and we learn, and then we keep this almost unconsciously, that if we have enough money, not enough, if we have a lot of money, if our health is good, if the body is kind of, everybody says like, oh, wow, you're so beautiful. If we have lots of friends, if nobody criticizes us, then we think everything will be okay and we will be happy. And we don't even see that this is not the case. So very often when we're unhappy, we blame the wrong thing. Yeah, we don't blame our expectations. We don't blame our kind of, totally unrealistic hopes and fears. But we blame like the situation or the other person or this and that. So this text goes against that. It kind of looks inside, and it really encourages us to develop our positive sides, whatever you think is your positive side. Yeah. So first you have to really be clear. Okay, what kind of person do I want to be? Yeah. Like, do I want to be kind and compassionate, and maybe by some other people then they see me as the friar, or do I have these values of reacting to difficult people or to difficult situation as much as possible, not out of my unhelpful emotions like aversion, anger, aggression, but rather with kindness. And kindness can be tough also. So don't mistake that for then everybody will walk over me. It's not like this. But when you use this tough kindness, it is for the benefit of the other. It's not for the benefit of yourself. Yeah. Okay, so with children, sometimes mothers and fathers, they can do that. They can be quite tough, but then it's for the welfare of the child. You know, of course, there's also, it's my child, so they are maybe tougher with their own children than they are with other children, because they see that if I'm not tough now, it will create long-term problems. So this is all about this also, you know, like one thing's very big and very wide and more long-term than only short-term. And of course, it's a Buddhist teaching, like we want to attain enlightenment. So then when we think about the Buddhist teachings, like the foundations of the Buddhist teachings, the first thing that the Buddha said is like, there is dissatisfaction in the world. There is, you know, there's problems, there's difficulties. It's very easy to get stressed. It's very easy to be frustrated. And then, so that's the first statement that he made, you know. So it's not as if he discovered something new, but maybe he discovered it a bit on a deeper level, that even though when we don't have the suffering of pain, like depression in the mind, fear in the mind, or pain in the body, like being sick, still there is always this underlying thing that is kind of driving us, that goes like, it's not good enough, you know. It's not good enough. We hardly ever pause and say like, oh, wow, this is fantastic. And, you know, these moments of, wow, this is fantastic, they last very, very short. So this is one of the sufferings also. It's never good enough because we're trying to find lasting happiness outside. So then the second one is telling us, why is that? Because of our unhelpful actions, like unethical actions, like let's call them like this, because of our unethical actions, which are done out of, like with the motor or the, you know, the fuel of unhelpful emotions like attachment, greed, desire, hatred, aggression, anger, jealousy, pride, miserliness, confusion, all these kinds of things. And at the root of this, there is a wrong view about how reality exists. Yeah. So whenever we discuss these verses, try not to make them too worldly. Okay, even though we do apply them in the world, because if you forget these kind of the first noble truth, the second noble truth, like no matter how much we try to arrange the world outside, there will always be dissatisfaction. We will always have a mind that wants better and more because we are looking outside. Yeah. Why is that? Because we have wrong views that there's a real self who is separate from others, and whatever that real self is seeing, this is really how it feels. And we never ever, you know, we have a self, we have an I, we have a me, which is a conventional I, which is just a label that we give to this combination, what we are, the five aggregates, or like a body and the mind. So this, and on top of that, we put the label I, so we know who we are. We are somebody. We're not totally nobody, but we don't have a separate I, or a separate me, or a separate self. So when we hurt inside, this is then when we come to these verses about, you know, not being treated in the way we want to be treated, or not being spoken to the way we want to be spoken to. When we come to that, and then when it hurts inside, we never investigate what is actually hurting, because it feels so natural and so normal that if somebody criticizes us, or somebody kind of I don't know, says very unkind and very rough words to us, it feels so natural to be hurt. Yeah. That we don't realize that if somebody else is saying these words, it doesn't matter, you know. If it would be in a theater and you're playing, or in a movie, you know, after the rehearsal, you go and have a beer with that other person. Well, not in Corona times, you can't. But anyway, in normal times, you would, you know, all the aggression or all the hurt that you showed in the movie would be kind of, when the scene is finished, yeah, it would fall away. Whereas in what we call real life or daily life, we carry this with us, and then it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, and thicker and thicker and thicker. And we never really kind of investigate what is it that is hurting? Who is this I? What is this I that now is like, oh, how dare you say this to me? Yeah. So this is what I'm saying, always try to bring this in. And of course, you have the really good fortune that you have Venerable Karzon, like Yaki, and Geshe-la teaching you like all the time about emptiness. So it takes a long time for us to understand, at least intellectually, what this is all about. Sometimes they say following teachings like this for at least 5 years, and then you start to understand what is being negated. So if you don't understand at the beginning, don't give up, it's like you will understand. And then this underlying thing of not believing in this separate I so much anymore, it can really support all your other practices. When that is missing, like this view of, there's an absence of this really existing I, when that is missing, you won't have that much success, even if you're trying very, very hard. It really goes together, the method and then the wisdom of how things exist. It has to be practiced together, because if you only do emptiness, your practice becomes very dry and very cold. The heart is not there, actually, and you can get quite proud about you've understood the 4 schools and all these kind of things, and you can argue and you can explain to others. So, but also trying to develop love, compassion, practice patience, generosity, and all these things, then you have, you have very good, a very good vehicle to kind of to travel on this path. Okay. And one of the other things that we need is awareness. So that's what we are trying to practice now, maybe for 10 minutes at least, so that you get the technique a little bit, and maybe also the, maybe also the wish, or maybe the routine to do this every day. That's another thing. It's so important that you train this regularly, like not only once a week for 10 minutes. That won't help much. Yeah, better than nothing, that's true. And don't wait for somebody else to come and guide you along. Yeah, it's like sitting down and turning your mind inside and watching what's going on. And when everything is kind of totally upside down, you take your breath so that this becomes your anchor. I mean, it's not difficult, it's not complicated. But you need discipline to do this, because it seems boring. Yeah. So, but it's worthwhile, these 20 minutes or half an hour, feeling a bit bored in the morning or in the evening, whenever you prefer to do this, because your whole day will totally change. Yeah. And for this, you have to experience it. You have to do it. And then you start to see that, wow, I react totally in a different way. Then you take the teachings on top of this. Then it really starts to be joyful, this whole thing, because otherwise it's such a struggle. We Westerners are not very good in having joy in our spiritual practice. We are so serious, and we take everything like, life and death matter kind of thing. We're not relaxed enough, like the Tibetans, for example. I'm not saying only the Tibetan Buddhists are relaxed, but those are the ones I know best. The others I don't know so much. Yeah. So if you know other, Buddhists like Thai or Burmese or Laos or whatever, then that's fine. Okay. So we try to sit with a straight back, because the body can help the mind to open up and to relax. And especially the body helps us to get the mind into the present, because this is what we are. Life is happening in the present, nor in the past, nor in the future. And we spend so much time there. And then we're disconnected with what is actually going on. And we think that this is reality. So let's take the word awareness. Maybe use a Hebrew word. For me, the word awareness doesn't mean much. If I take the German word, which is Gewahrsein, means being present and seeing what is. This is in one word, you have all of this. Gewahrsein, experiencing, yeah, not being lost in thoughts. That's actually what it means, experiencing. And the Buddhist vehicle is a vehicle of experience, not belief, not faith, but you have to experience it. So do you experience your body right now? No need to have an opinion about how. Don't try not to put thoughts and words into this whole thing. Just experience your body. Knowing, for example, the body is sitting. Knowing directly, knowing it through experience, not through thoughts. And again, please don't forget to bring friendliness into the practice. Soften up, open up, become spacious, not wanting anything, not expecting anything. It is very easy to be present and to experience. The only thing is we can't do it for very long. So don't tense up by thinking, oh, it will be easier if I get all tense. Relax. Open up, become spacious. With a very friendly feeling towards yourself. Soft, tender, appreciating. And choose to let go of all the thoughts and all the plans or all the hanging around in the past. It's a conscious choice. And as an anchor to be present, you can take your breath. So first notice the breath as opposed to before not noticing it. And now you notice it. You're conscious of it. Maybe awareness and being conscious also is synonymous. Same thing. Experience your breath directly. Wherever you feel it, it's the most comfortable. It can be the rising and falling of your abdomen. Can be the little pressure that it makes when you breathe in at your nostril. Or it can be the whole cycle. And now I will stop talking and we'll do this for 5 more minutes. I will leave you. And whenever you feel that the mind is moving away, that you lost being conscious or experiencing your breath, that's the success. Whenever you notice that you're not there, immediately the mind is back. Don't feel discouraged. Don't push. Just do it. It's not complicated. Okay, and then you turn your mind a little bit more inwards by seeing the state of your mind, just noticing it also. And to allow everything that is there, just to notice. You could even ask yourself, how do I feel? And if you feel that you feel really great and really good, you can try to share that with others and think, oh, fantastic, I feel really good. May others benefit from this. If you don't feel so good, we generate compassion for ourselves by thinking, may I be free from this uneasy feeling of whatever it is, being anxious, feeling low, being angry, restless, whatever. And then very important in our spiritual practice, we need to know where we want to go. Do we want to remain an ordinary person like everybody else, just, when we are hurt, when we are harmed, because the others started it, then I want to retaliate. Pay back what they did for me, or I want to be able to see everybody through the eyes of love and compassion. What is really important for me? What kind of person do I want to be? So then at least we know, where our priorities lie, but we also have to know that it will last a long time. The stronger our habits and tendencies, the longer it will last to change them. So here also we need patience with ourselves, not to push, not to get tense. And just appreciating the effort that we are making, trying to go in that direction. So we could have the motivation. I am doing this spiritual practice for myself so that I become happier, more calm, more open, more peaceful. That's okay, but it's quite narrow a bit. So we can at least open it up a little bit and think, may it also benefit my family, my friends, my colleagues, everybody that I will meet. Wouldn't that be a wonderful aspiration or motivation? Whoever I meet, may it only be of benefit to them, so that they too can be happy, open, peaceful, ethical. I never harm anybody. I never disturb anybody's peace of mind. So if that seems appealing to you, then you can use that as a motivation. And to try to experience the difference in the mind state when we think like this. Is it more inspiring? Is it less inspiring? You have to experience it. Okay. So last time, I think we stopped at verse 51, isn't it? Yeah, when also Leora had this question here, because I've been thinking about this. You know, the questions that you ask me, then I try to answer very quickly, and then afterwards I think about them a little bit more deeper. You know, nevertheless, should I return the harm, it will not protect them either. By doing so, my conduct will deteriorate, and hence this fortitude will be destroyed. So Leora Kenneth was asking, what does it mean? Because when we retaliate, you know, this is a very good thing to see also, and to examine with awareness. When you have this wish to retaliate, and it comes very, very quickly, why are we doing this? Because somewhere in the back of our mind, we have the thought that it will help, that it's helpful to retaliate. Otherwise, why would you do it? You know, because you're not very attractive when you retaliate, and we want to be very attractive. Does it make sense? So it's really good to see the energy that is behind the retaliation. Why am I doing this? Because somehow our ego mind thinks that it will be helpful. So as it says, it will not be helpful for the other, because they just get angry at us. And then also about last time, is that clear? Kind of thing, yeah. And also last time, you know, when we had this discussion with Tom and with Netta also, that when we are kind to others, when we generate compassion for others, that it feels like condescending, and we feel like the good Buddhist and all this. Do you remember? Okay, so we had Geshe Tashi teaching us this weekend, and I asked him this question. I didn't say it comes from the Israelis. Okay, so can you see Geshe Tashi, and then you can hear his answer. Okay. Oh wait, I have to open up my computer sound, isn't it? Otherwise you can't hear. Oh, there. Okay. If you can't
Any
hear, then let me know.
suggestion that you like to do? I'm happy to spend a little bit time with you.
Yeah, Geshe-la. Again, coming back to verse 69, you know, where it says, like, whoever harms you, you should generate compassion and love for them. So, you know, we had this conversation, somebody saying, yeah, but then I feel kind of arrogant, and, you know, I'm the good Buddhist, and look at me, I'm not getting angry at you, I'm much better than you, I have patience. So this comes it's also very subtle, this thing, but it can
It is
in,
true.
I think.
It is true. It is true. And that really, you know, comes down to one of the, you know, one of the, what you call the mental qualities. One of the mental qualities is, you know, the sense of humbleness. Sense of humbleness is one of the mental qualities, and very often that comes across in the Bodhisattva's training, mind training. You know, this what you call the mind 8 verses of mind training. In the first verse, it says that all living beings, you know, are, you know, see or treat as a more precious, more than any worldly precious things. So that really helps to bring ourselves, no matter what you practice good patience, you practice with a great altruistic mind, still, you know, try to bring within ourselves, you know, I am sort of, you know, this person these people are more precious. No matter how my practice is strong, no matter my practice is going well, but still seeing the others as a more precious, more important than ourselves. So that is, it is true that that kind of mentality, that kind of habit will, every now and then pop up. And that is here the mindfulness, when we are reading the chapter 4 and 5, this conscientiousness, it shows there are many verses. Be aware of all those, the wrong attitude, wrong attitude. Very important that what you call the very oftenly discussed, the technically called 8 worldly, attitude, behavior, in Tibetan, Jigten Chögye. So as soon as that kind of attitude occur, an attitude such as, oh, I'm Buddhist practitioner, I'm able to practice patience, tolerance, so therefore I'm better than that other person. As soon as that kind of attitude start to occur, acknowledge that is wrong. There is a nice story in one of the Kadamba master. So that day, one of his colleague Kadamba master is going to visit to his place, and this Kadamba master, he set up routine, his offerings nicely and in front of the shrine, and he suddenly suddenly occur in his thought, because my colleague is going to visit today. And he immediately realized that is wrong. That attitude is wrong. And he's gone out, bring the handful of dust, throw on the offering that he nicely set up, to really immediately try to hold that wrong or the incorrect attitude is occurred. So these are the lessons we should, and the people who recognize that is the sign of improvement, sign of you are paying attention what you are doing, and these are not bad. Seeing that is not bad, seeing that is good. That is the sign of making progress, being aware of your attitude and so forth. Yes.
Okay, does it make sense, Tom?
This is wow.
Yes, of course. I mean, to practice, like to immediately come to like, no, I recognizing it, okay, that's where I am at. But immediately counteracting it might be hard, because
yes, it is very hard. I mean, this is it. This is why also, we are at chapter 6, and Geshe-la mentioned chapter 4 and 5, which is conscientiousness and attention. And there you have all this list of mind states where it says, if this and this mind comes up in my mind state comes up, then I will act like a piece of wood, meaning I will not say anything until I have changed the attitude. So this is why basic awareness is so important, that we notice it, because otherwise we don't even notice it. And this, especially as a spiritual practitioner, this is what we have to be aware of. It comes in so quickly, that we judge others, how they behave and all this, and we think we are better than them, and it totally destroys our practice, actually. Yeah, because it's arrogance, and this kind of arrogance is very, very difficult to detect and very difficult to see. Yeah. Okay, so Geshe-la didn't say, okay, then don't have compassion for the other. But try to see that there is this mind of arrogance, that you feel that you like condescending, or you think that you are better than the other. Yeah. And as you say, all this is not easy. See, if it would be easy, we would all be enlightened, would have been enlightened long ago. Okay. But it comes again, because maybe you noticed it, like I asked Geshe-la about verse 69, because that's where we are with Geshe-la. He teaches us once a month only, like an hour and a half. And he's in India, and so it's really kind, because our group is quite small, and he knows everybody, and because he's been coming here for years to teach on that text. So this is why I thought I'll ask him that question. Okay, so then we go to the next verses, and the next verses are about, it doesn't open. I don't know why sometimes the text does not open. It's now you can see it, yeah? Okay, we come to 52. So now here's about words, insults, criticism, and these kind of things. So it says, since my mind is not physical, in no way can anyone destroy it, but through its being greatly attached to my body, it is caused harm by physical suffering. So that when the body is suffering, or when the body is being harmed, also the mind gets angry, or the mind is the mind is unhappy, or whatever. Yeah, it's also suffering. So I have a little bit another translation, might be a bit more clear. The mind is bodiless, but by no one can it be destroyed, and yet it grasps the body tightly, falling victim to the body's pain. And we can see that, when the body is in pain, that also the mind is not happy. Yeah. The mind is very much influenced by body pain, or when the body is getting hurt, because again, it's this grasping at this is my body. So then, we make body and mind like kind of one thing. This is me. Yeah, body and mind. And we don't see that this is only like, it's not really me. It is only, how to say, the me is only the label. There's no separate I or me. One thing is the body, one thing is the mind. There's no me possessing these two things. But this is how it feels, because it's like, of course, the emotional pain, you can feel it in the body. You can feel it in the heart or in your stomach or something like that. But it's mental pain. Yeah. And this mental pain, when we have the right attitude, is totally not necessary. And why this is now the next verses. Since disrespect, harsh speech, and unpleasant words do not cause any harm to my body, why, mind, do you become so angry? Yeah. So if somebody is criticizing you, then why becoming angry? We're very happy when somebody is praising us. And then his ego mind says, so sometimes you can see it's like a discussion between his wise mind and his ego mind. So his ego mind says, because others will dislike me, but since it will not devour me either in this or another life, why do I not want this dislike? So it's a very good question, isn't it? So the other translation would have been contempt and scorn that others show me now and in my future life, since none of it can bite and swallow me. Why is it that I am so averse to it? Shall we do some more verses? So then again, his ego mind is saying, because it will hinder my worldly gain. Even if I do not want this, I shall have to leave my worldly gains behind, and my evil alone will remain unmoved. Yeah, so first these two verses. It's a good question, isn't it? Why do words hurt us so much? Yeah, Maybe we can do 2 minutes reflection when somebody, ego mind and what other mind? Well, the wisdom mind, maybe, a mind who sees what brings or understands what brings. I don't know. Did you see in the chat? Did you see the question from Sigal? Ego mind and what other mind? You see, there is a mind who is coming out of egocentredness and coming from wrong views, a confused mind. Yeah. There's no one mind that is the mind. The mind is made up of like the main minds and then the mental factors or the mental states, if you prefer, maybe easier to talk like this. Yeah. And so sometimes we are very reasonable. And when we are calm and open, we know how to react. We know how to react so that it will bring happiness in the future, like long term also. Maybe short term, it's a bit painful, but long term, it will bring happiness. So that would be the wisdom mind, really, because we want to be happy, isn't it? Yeah, this is another question that we have to ask ourselves really deeply. Do I want to be happy or do I want to continue to suffer? Yeah. As maybe you remember, one verse was saying, even though we want happiness and we don't want to suffer, but it looks as if we are actually addicted to the causes that create suffering. Do you remember that verse? Yeah, that, like, even though we know that aggression, desire, jealousy, and all these kinds of things, we know that they're not helpful, still we follow them, we collaborate with them, we act upon them. We don't have, our awareness and our discipline is not strong enough to be able to say no, because the tendencies are so strong. I remember Geshe Sherab saying at one point, he says, like our unhelpful emotions are like the kleshas, it's like the forest burning, yeah? And then we take a little cup of water, which is our very weak awareness and our very weak antidote, and we're trying to put it out. Yeah, it's not enough. Our awareness, our wisdom, knowing what brings happiness and what brings suffering, is not strong enough yet. So we need to. It's some of it is there, but we need to cultivate it further. Is that clear, Sigal? Yeah, we could call it, instead of ego mind and wisdom mind, you can call it the mind which is reasonable, realistic, maybe. The realistic mind who doesn't have fake hopes and fears. And then you have the mind who wishes and hopes for something that is totally out of our reach, Because again, when we look at hopes and fears, hopes create a lot of desire and attachment, especially when they're not realistic. And also they create a lot of fear that it will not happen when we kind of put our happiness on it, the hope for, if this and this is going to happen, then I will be happy. And then of course behind it is the fear that, if it's not happening, then I will not be happy. And then fear creates changes into aggression very, very quickly also. Yeah. And then we blame others, we blame the world and others, and all this. So So when others hurt us physically, one instantly gets swept over by negative emotions, and although one's mind has no limbs nor holds any weapons, it is ready to return the harm. So it's the mind who is kind of planning the retaliation. So even though the mind is not physically hurt, it grasps at the body and feels as if it were directly attacked and proceeds to retaliate. To overcome this, we need to find the nature of the angry mind to pacify suffering. We need to train in patience. If others criticize us and point towards our faults, none of it can ruin our existing aggregates, nor our merits. This is so important. In the verse here, it said, can anybody let me know why? Why I need to click so many times. Like you can see, I don't have that much patience. I need to click so many times until it comes up. Yeah, it's like here it says, oh, well, you know, these words, then others, when others hear these unpleasant words against me, they will start to dislike me. This is what it says. This is the argument why we shouldn't let other people kind of give us these nasty words, or because it will hinder my worldly gain. Yeah, maybe. But what it doesn't hinder and what it doesn't destroy is your positive karma. Your positive karma that you will take with you to your next lives. Worldly gains, friends, people liking you, you can't take them with you when you go to another life, because this is where he starts now also, Shantideva, with this argument. So why get angry and impatient towards such people? Since the aggregates are not independently existing and are not to be found to exist really, there's no basis to feel hurt. So here goes, like, I don't know if you're familiar with this, we have what is called 5 aggregates. Or in order to make it a bit more simple, we have a body and a mind. So sometimes the body gets hurt, sometimes the mind gets hurt, and then we mix this kind of together and it becomes one big blob. So then when you feel hurt, of course, when it's body pain, then it's body pain, but the body pain heals. Yeah, and I think not so many of us, unless you're in the army and you're in battle, not so many of us are getting hurt by other people physically, is it? I hope not. You know, you're not living with a partner that is beating you up, or your children are not beating you up, or your parents are not beating you up, because if they do, you have to do something about this. Then don't practice patience, okay? Then, you know, seek help if it's like this. Yeah. But he's talking like in case it will happen, you know, it's also the mind that will get upset. Then it's really good to see, okay, what is hurt? Who is hurt? Especially with the words. Yeah. So here it also, you know, it treats with practicing patience in the face of ridicule, criticism, or condescension. When somebody is condescending us, you know, and they feel more superior. Spiteful words are just sounds from a mouth, but we make much more of them. If they were words in a foreign language, we wouldn't react at all. But based on our past and our current state of mind, we interpret these sounds in a way that annoys us. Could we at least consider not doing that? So this is a question to you. You can answer either in the chat or you can open your microphone. Why are words hurting us so much? What do you think?
My pressure ego.
Your precious
yeah.
Your precious ego. So where is your ego, Dalit? Can it be hurt? Is it a target that I can shoot an arrow to it?
Yes and no. Because of the practice, so most of the time I don't give a damn. It's not, it's really not affect me.
Mm-hmm.
But there is time, usually it appears without, איך אומרים, הכנה מראש. Without knowing that it's going to appear. And then somebody said something and it's really affect me.
Yeah.
And I can give you example.
Yes, please.
I used to work, I used to be big head with a lot of charge on other people. And now I choose this last year to work with children. And so last week somebody came about something that they want to do in the kibbutz. And he's an outsider, he's not from here. And he said something. And I was shocked because I want to say to him, hey, look, I used to do this and I learned this and I am so clever. And
yeah.
So it really affected me very hard, and I didn't know why. Then I realized why, but it took me time because for a long time I didn't get hurt from anything. So it really was, for example.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that it depends who says it, it depends how they say it, it depends what kind of state of mind I'm in. And what Tom was saying, I have to open it, moment, just a sec. Tom was saying, because the words I hear echo the words I think and believe regarding myself. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's so important that we check the beliefs that we have about ourselves. Are they realistic? Are they true? Because they totally block us. And so it's you know, this can be your homework for next week, how you react to words, and really trying to react to relax and to go inside when you feel your reaction, to let go of the words, like drop the case. Yeah, like in one of the verses also before, Shantideva tells us, drop the story. Yeah, go inside and feel how it feels to be heard, but don't keep the story in your head, because then these are the second arrow. Yeah, you remember the second arrow? Like the first arrow is like the unpleasant word. It's okay, you know, we can actually words is like an arrow that can't hit us, you know, as it says, it can't hit the mind. An arrow can only hit the body, but it cannot hit the mind. We set up the target by, as Tom says, by believing what it says. It's interesting to see that we react even stronger when somebody has an opinion about us that we don't agree with. You know, instead of just being happy that this person is totally wrong what they are saying, we get really upset. Or don't you? Like Talit was just saying, you know, somebody comes along and thinks that she's kind of a nobody, although she's been, as she says, a big head. And then we need to set this right. Yeah. So why are we getting so upset when somebody has a wrong opinion about us? Instead of, now, you know, again, these two minds, the ego mind, the wisdom mind would say, wow, good thing that this is not true, you know. Why do we care so much about the opinion of other people? Why do we put all our happiness in their hand? They praise me, I'm happy. They criticize me, I am not happy. Why is that? Need to belong. Yeah, need to belong. But you know, very often the people who criticize us, we don't want to belong to them. Isn't it?
I can say
we're quite happy to be separate from them. Yeah, when it's people that we want to belong to, then of course it becomes a problem. But you know, again, how can you influence somebody's opinion about yourself? It's almost impossible. If somebody has a bad opinion about yourself, it's like the more you relax, and the more, again, we come to the fashion word now, the more you're authentic and you're not putting on an act, the more they will trust you. And we have karma with other people. You know, we have what is it called? Chemistry. Sometimes the chemistry works, sometimes it doesn't work. And there's so many people. There's so many people around us. Why does it have to be those? Safety. If somebody criticizes us, you know, if we are realistic, it can be very helpful. It's much better somebody says, hey, you know, what you're doing here is wrong, than if somebody is just also wanting to belong to you and says, oh, yeah, what you're doing is fantastic. But behind they think, oh, this is total bullshit, what this person is doing. Any other opinions? Nahum, I saw you.
Yeah, if they say something, if somebody is saying something about me, that is right, my mind used to be like this. I've grown and I've changed. Now I'm not like this. So I want to tell him, can't you see I've changed?
Yeah, right. And
Maybe.
we have a fixed mind about ourselves, and it's great. Yeah, also. Yeah, we think, we are so full of contradictions. You know what Israel just said? We're so full of contradictions. On one hand, sometimes we're full of low self-esteem, and we really think that we're no good, and we're doing everything wrong. But then when somebody comes and tells us, yeah, this is right, then then we get all upset and say, no, it's not like this. Yeah, we're full of contradictions. We have arrogance and low self-esteem, because these two things actually go together. Yeah. Whereas when you're just natural and say, yeah, okay, I can do good things. I also make mistakes. I'm like everybody else. I don't have to be perfect. And maybe at the end, we will do that meditation again that we did right at the beginning. Somebody has their microphone on. Okay, so that we did right at the beginning, when we took Einstein, who said a human being is just a part of a whole that we call the universe. But we take ourselves as individuum. We take ourselves as being separate from that universe. And this is then we're starting to have problems. We don't see how connected we are to others. We don't see, like, especially here with the patients, the person who criticizes us, isn't he a wonderful tool to practice patience? Because it's just words. Yeah. And patience is one of the 6 perfections. If we can't practice it, we won't attain enlightenment. You can't say, oh, you're on the door to Buddhahood, and then but you haven't practiced patience. And then you say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't have any occasions to practice patience. So this is something you need to, so please give me Buddhahood. The Buddhahood, nobody else is giving you Buddhahood, kind of knocking on the door to Buddhahood saying, hey, I want to get in. Then, there's no Buddha who will say, no, I can't let you in because you haven't practiced patience. It's a bit of a silly example. But anyway, we need to practice patience. It's part of the spiritual practice. And especially at the time of death, I tell you, if you practice patience now, and you need other people who push your buttons, otherwise you might think you're a very patient person, but then you're not, because everybody is just saying, oh, you're so wonderful and you're so great and you're so fantastic. But at the time of death, when everything starts to slip and we lose everything that we are attached to, if you cannot relax into that situation, because that's what patience is. You relax into the situation and you respond in an appropriate way. Not too little and not too much. And for that, you need to be relaxed. And nobody can show you when it is too little and when it is too much. Your wisdom mind will know. Yeah? So a little bit like that. Would you have something present that would still maybe hurt you? Our doubts about ourselves and life. Yeah. So maybe next time we do a meditation on loosening up these doubts and these beliefs that we have about ourselves. It is so necessary and it's so important that we start to believe in our own goodness and also in the goodness of others. We kind of try to, our mind is so trained only to see the negative. And, I just sent an email just before now to a Dharma center, which has, of course, now financial problems because it's quite big about the coronavirus. But the people working there, I asked them, how are you? And then she wrote back, oh, we are all very well. I said, yeah, this is the good side of it, The groups that they can receive, they're very small, so they're not stressed out. So if you only see the financial problem, then that is really burdening you and you don't even see the positive side of it anymore. And we do have a tendency to only see the negative side. So And why? Also, why are we so confused? Why do we have so many doubts? Why?
Maybe because life is so complicated.
Yeah. Life is complicated. Very good, Yael. If we understand life is complicated, we're not even trying to sort it out. And we relax and say, yeah, life is complicated. You know, not even God could sort it out. Not even Jesus could sort, not Muhammad and not the Buddha. So who am I to think I can make life uncomplicated? But the complication is in our minds also, you know, because we make it complicated. This is the thing. Just as Geshe-Tashi was mentioning the 8 verses of transforming the mind, and Noah again is like, you know, full of enthusiasm, nodding, because I know that you are your student of Alon, and he, you know, you go these 8 verses, they go them backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, isn't it? Alon Per.
And we are just now learning it in our Sangha.
In your Sangha. They are so valuable. And the first verse that you learn is that other people are very precious to me, whether they help me or don't help me and this and that. And then it becomes, you know, everything becomes very easy. When we see people as precious, we have respect for them, we have a positive mind, we do belong. Yeah, because then you see, when we see somebody as precious, it's very easy for them to accept us. Yeah, because our philosophy is weak. Yeah, also, but then you have to see, well, the philosophy, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it what I want? Is it, you know, is it, again, the same question. What do I want? What kind of person, what kind of person do I want to be? Yeah. So Geshe-Tashi was mentioning this first verse. We train the mind to see everybody as very precious. Yeah. And when I say everybody, what does that mean? When I say everybody. Did I say everybody else?
Everybody is included us, of course.
Huh?
Includes me.
Includes me. Otherwise, you know, you're going astray with these 8 verses. If you don't include yourself as being very precious, you can't practice the other verses, because it will destroy you. Yeah. So maybe, yeah, our enemy too, especially our enemy, they're very precious, because they again, you know, I'm asking you now, instead of giving you all the answers, why are our enemies precious? Because from the Buddhist point of view, come on, I said it a few times, because
we can practice.
Huh?
We can practice.
We can practice patience. That's one thing. Second, these were the verses that came last week. Oneness, yeah. What else?
We can work on our anger.
We can work on our anger, yeah. Yeah, they purify our negative karma. They are like the dentist who fix my hole so that my hole doesn't get bigger. You see, the dentist, we pay money and we say thank you, even though it hurts. Even more than somebody who's criticizing me. Yeah, because we understand if I leave this hole, it will create more problems in the future. And if you know the law of cause and effect, if you know karma, karma increases as it remains on our mind stream. Yeah, so actually they finish something that could give a much bigger result in the future. So wow, thank you very much. But again, you know, that doesn't mean you let other people harm you just like this. Why not? They are our mirror. Yeah, this is Israel. This is very difficult to acknowledge, isn't it? That when we get upset about others is because we see our own negative sides. They are us. We have part of them in us. Yes, exactly. So what was the question I was asking you? My short-term memory now, if I do too many things at the same time. Anybody remembers what was I saying? We talked about the dentist and we say thank you. And yeah, you don't let other people walk over you. Why not? Question to you. Why do you have a duty as a Bodhisattva to protect yourself? Why?
Because that will create them bad karma.
Exactly. So they purify my karma, which makes me reborn in a higher state, and they will fall to the lower states because I have this negative karma to be harmed. This is very, very high thinking. So it doesn't mean that you let other people harm you and you say, oh, great, he is purifying my negative karma. This would not be the right attitude. But when you protect yourself, then you protect yourself for them not to create negative karma. For example, there's this story about the Buddha before he was a Buddha, and he was a captain on a ship. I'm sure many of you know that story. He was a captain on a ship, and he was a bodhisattva, and he saw that there was merchants on the ship who had like a lot of possessions with them, and there was one pirate who was planning to kill these merchants and then to steal the possessions. So the Bodhisattva, who was the captain, who then became the Buddha many lifetimes afterwards, he killed that pirate. And he said, let me go to hell for you so that you cannot kill these 500 or how many other merchants. He was voluntarily taking the negative karma of the other from killing so that the other person wouldn't have that negative karma of killing 500 people. So this is very, very high thinking. We would be thinking, okay, I have a right to kill the pirate because I am protecting these 500 merchants. But the captain's mind was a compassionate mind who thought, okay, I have to protect the pirate from creating the karma of killing 500 people. So for us, I think this is too high. So don't go around killing people yet. Okay, please. It's not for us to kill. Okay, so yeah.
I got today this picture from my son. Can I show you?
Yes. It's a soldier, yeah? Or what is it?
It's my son.
Yeah.
So does he protect others from making worse karma for themselves?
Mm-hmm. It depends on his attitude. The karma is created in his mind. So it depends on his attitude. Yeah.
For me, it's difficult to see this. Even when he comes home with his gun, it's very difficult for me just to put it inside my house. It's very difficult for me.
Mm-hmm. But he's your son.
But now when you are talking, I start thinking maybe, yeah. When he began to start being a soldier, I was afraid for his karma.
Yeah, right.
So now I need to accept it. But what do you say about
accept it? And a soldier can go to war with this attitude. I am protecting, of course, my people, but I'm also protecting the others who are attacking us. By then they're not able to attack us. But that depends on the person's mind who is wearing the uniform and who is going to the army. Because karma is created in each individual's mind. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So maybe you can, you can ask him if he, because you see, when we do an action, this is why we always check our motivation before, because we can do exactly the same action, which then becomes either positive karma or negative karma, because the motivation is totally different. Yeah, like when, I think I already told you that story. I mean, that example, when you travel in India on the train and it's overnight, you have to chain on your suitcase or your backpack, because otherwise next morning it's not there anymore. Especially if you sleep very tightly, because somebody will steal it. So you can chain on that suitcase or that backpack out of compassion, so that nobody can steal it, or you just chain it on because you don't want it to be stolen. So it's the same action, but it's a huge difference. Yeah. And I tell you really, and I think I told you the story, when you see how a thief in an Indian train is being caught, how he is beaten up by every man in their carriage to pulp, then you chain on your backpack because you don't want this to happen to anybody. It is so violent. Yeah. When you see how, when you see the immediate result from somebody stealing you things when they're being caught, then you will protect you things because of nobody having to be beaten up in such a terrible way. Do you understand what I'm kind of saying here? That it depends on the motivation. This is why I'm saying, don't let other people walk over you, and try to protect yourself as much as you can. These verses, I mean, you apply these verses once it's already happened, when the damage is already done, so that you are not getting angry. Yeah, and as you can see, Shantideva, we're not going very fast, but Shantideva is giving us a lot of examples and a lot of, to see the complexity of the whole thing. Like Yael was saying, life is complicated, life is difficult, and it's true, but we don't see it. Usually our ego mind, me, I, only sees one aspect, like, by the way, did you do the homework when I asked you to, when somebody is creating some problems for you, that you sit down, you close your eyes and you think, I accept you completely because I understand you have become what you are due to certain conditions, causes, circumstances, and so on. Have you tried it out? Have you done it?
Yes, and I have a question about it.
Okay, but anybody else maybe before? Has anybody done it? Okay, so Tom, before you ask your question, what did it do to you?
It was a bit confused. I was confused a bit, because when I started to do this, I think what happened was that I immediately jumped to accepting, but then I didn't really get to, I don't know, experience the side, the part where I am hoping for this person to change, to be different than what he is.
Well, this is not accepting when you hope for them to change.
No, yes, I know. So, I mean, I meant I was very quick. I was skipping a step in a way. That's what I was.
Okay.
It was hard for me to realize that thing, and I was accepting people very fast without realizing that yeah.
Yeah. You see, I think when you know the circumstances, like for example, also there's this story where you are going with all your shopping. You don't have the card, but your shopping is in your hands, and you're going to your car, and then in the parking lot, and then somebody is bumping into you, and everything is kind of flying around, and your bottles are breaking, and all this. And then you get really angry and you get upset, and you're trying to gather the things, and you look at this person and you think, oh man, you know, what are you doing? Are you blind? And then you see that the person is actually blind. Your whole anger is gone. When we start to understand that people are what they are, the same as us, because of circumstances, not because of choice, because of karma, you know, confusion, circumstances, and all these kinds of things, then it's much easier to accept them. And then, you know, once you accept them, then maybe you can start changing them if you want, if they want to be changed. You see, it's also quite arrogant that we want people to, we also always want to change people. We don't like to be changed either, isn't it? Unless you ask somebody, can you please help me change? So what was the question then behind this?
Yeah, you kind of answered it now. I mean, because I found myself realizing that there is a very deep-rooted belief that I have that that it's my responsibility to persuade other people of the right views, of the right doings, and stuff like that. And then it occurred to me that I realized, but that doesn't comply with what you gave us to do, like accepting people the way they are. But now what you said, I think it's very wise that first you accept people the way they are, that they are causes and conditions that make them believe certain things, behave in certain ways. First you accept that, and you accept them the way they are, and then if you come from this attitude, then trying to persuade them, or at least showing them that you are acting in a different way, might be more beneficial, might be more helpful.
I think so. It's very good observation when you say we have this obsession wanting to change people, and then we don't see the motivation behind it. We want to change them because it upsets us the way they are. So we know it's kind of, we're coming out of almost aggression instead of coming out of love. Whereas when you accept them, then you want to help them change because it comes out of love. Did anybody experience something, you know, I mean, in your mind state, when you just sit down, think about the person who pushes your buttons, and then you say, okay, I just accept you the way you are. And somebody makes you nervous, you know, it's not big enemies, it's somebody that makes you nervous. Did anybody experience anything?
Yes, it was a great relief.
I did, and I have to say that it wasn't easy because when the big problem is to accept the straight away without asking questions, or to look at the other person and to look at him and say, this smell is good, he looks good for me, or all these questions that you get from other people, and you put them in some kind of a diagram, you know? You have in your head somebody, and you look at him, you say, okay, this I like, or this I don't like. The big problem is the first thing to accept and to say to yourself, no judgment. No judgment. And this is not easy.
This is not easy, but you know, when we talk about accepting, it's not about the actions of this person, it's more the person itself. A person who is like me, wanting to be happy and not wanting to suffer. Yeah, so, and also the same thing, sometimes we mistake accepting for I'm not doing anything. You see, if I go to the doctor and the doctor is telling me, oh, I'm really sorry, but you have cancer, I have to accept this first. And then I do something about this. If I don't accept that I have cancer, I will just ignore it. Acceptance doesn't mean you're not reacting. But somebody, I don't know who it was, said great relief. Who was it?
It was me.
It was Dalit, okay?
No, Hila.
Where are you?
Here I am. Maybe you don't see me.
Oh yeah, right, Hila.
Mm.
Thank you. Because I have the gallery view, so I see you all.
Yeah, I know. You don't see everybody.
No, I do actually, so it's nice. I can see you
okay.
all on one panel, so that's great. Hila, yeah, it's great relief, isn't it? So try just to, if you want to sort out conflicts, or you feel that there's a problem with somebody, try to do that before you go and talk to the person, before to see the person, because it really opens you up.
I mean, I have a problem with my neighbor.
Yeah.
We were very close, and now he doesn't speak to me for some reason, which I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And he just and he's angry about me, and he stopped talking to me. I really don't know why. But I was like, I really want the situation to change. And then we were talking last week, and I was like, okay, I don't have to change, not the person, not the situation. I can't also. So then I was like, okay, I will accept him the way he is. I don't know what he's going through, but I can accept him. I mean, I have to. This is the only way. Otherwise, I can. I mean, it's very bad for me. I mean,
otherwise you drive yourself crazy. And
yeah. Why? Like,
I mean,
why he's angry about me, and what can I do to change his mind? And and the best thing to do is like to accept this old situation and to live it.
Exactly.
And to live it. Maybe time will do something. I don't know, but
to relax and just to be normal and greet him and this and that. And maybe one day, I don't know, you can have a conversation and say, look, I'm really sorry if I upset you. This is always very good. Obviously, they're upset about something. You don't know what it is. You don't need to know, but it's good that you signal to the person, I see that you are upset. I'm really sorry about this. Yeah, then maybe there will be a conversation. Then we have to be careful, because then we are totally open, and then they start to accuse us about something.
Yeah.
And we get angry, and then we start to defend.
Yeah. He was saying, he was talking like very harsh thing for me before, and then he stopped talking to me, and it was like,
I think
it was very hard for me, because also I was thinking that sometimes it's very like important for us to be in harmony with other people. I mean, it's important.
It's important, but I tell you, I think Israel is a difficult country to be able to do that. We don't even succeed in Switzerland to be in harmony with everybody.
Yeah, it's impossible. And I was like, okay, create harmony with yourself. This is the first thing, because you can't outside. Obviously, it's not going, like, it's not working.
Yeah, and it's as Tom was saying, don't take too much responsibility that you have to make everybody happy. Not even the Dalai Lama can make everybody happy. The Chinese are very unhappy about the Dalai Lama. So, we can have the intention and this and that. Okay. So let's do some, we do 3 verses. That's not so bad, isn't it? So we can do some reflection at the end again, send out love, especially to the neighbor also. Another good thing, maybe this will be the homework, because it's words and being hurt and all this. When you feel you're getting upset because somebody is not treating you the right way, Hila, for you also, because that neighbor is ignoring you, then you really look inside and you go to that pain and you look what needs did not get fulfilled. As you say, the need of harmony, okay? So then we start to see, okay, I have these needs. As you say, it's not possible that everybody loves me. But what I can do, I can love everybody. This is what I can do. I can fulfill the needs of others. This I have control over, like the need for respect, to be appreciated and this and that. And, not to be only said what I do wrong and these kind of things, to maybe also get some encouragement from time to time. These are my needs. So that other people fulfill my needs, we have no control. But the control we have, I can fulfill the needs for others. Not need for power and sex and money and all these kinds of things, but the deep sitting human needs that we all have, to belong, to, like last week we said, when I feel that I'm accepted the way I am, it's a real gift. It's a gift that somebody else is giving me. So I can give the gift to somebody else. And the same way for fulfilling needs, this is a gift that we can give to others, fulfilling their needs. Not unreasonable needs, of course not. So try that out. First, when you feel you're getting upset or you're hurt, what needs did not get fulfilled? Because what happens then, you get out of the hurt mind, you come into the mind of caring for yourself. The mind of compassion, yeah? Where does it hurt? What needs did not get fulfilled? It's an inquiring mind. It's not a kind of closed mind who just feels sorry for yourself. And then you can look at the hurt like this. So it's not, you're not becoming the hurt. You're just looking at the hurt. You still have it, but you're just looking at it. And then you can go, okay, maybe everybody has these needs, because we all have the same needs, you know, deep down, we're all the same. So then you can think, okay, maybe there are some people I'm not fulfilling their needs either. So let me see if they accept that I want to fulfill their needs. Yeah, something like that. Okay? Oh, Leora, Kenneth is not very enthusiastic about the whole thing here. You see, with the homework, you don't have to do it if you think it's silly or stupid or whatever. This is just suggestions how during the week you can work with this. You can work with your mind, you know, so that it doesn't just remain on a theory level, because then you start to have experiences and then the whole thing will become much more joyful also. Okay? So write it down. I will write it down either so that I don't forget. When you get upset, when you get angry, look what needs did not get fulfilled. Can you tell again? Yeah, like this. When you get angry, when you get upset, try to see the mind that is hurt or angry, okay? And you go into it and you feel it, you know, without manipulating it. Because then you're already in a mind that is looking, in a mind state that is looking, instead of being in the mind that is turning, poor me, poor me, poor me, which is much too narrow. Yeah, the other mind that is looking is opening up again. Then you go, okay, not what happened, but what needs did not get fulfilled? What was I expecting? What needs did not get fulfilled? Then we see that we cannot force other people to fulfill our needs. So we don't need to go and tell them that, oh, you didn't fulfill my needs. This is not what we're doing here. But then you can start trying to see everybody else has these needs. So let me see if I can fulfill the needs of somebody else. Respect, appreciation, being kind, being friendly, like that. Without becoming hypocritical, please. Be genuine, okay? Is that clear? Or if you still have questions, you can open your mic and ask. Is it clear? Because that's a very, very good antidote for anger. Okay, so we'll do some short reflection by maybe you remembering a moment when your needs did not get fulfilled. This hurts. It's okay. We have to look at this mind that hurts, the heart that hurts, the mind that hurts. So for Hila, it's easy because she just gave us an example. How does it feel to be ignored by somebody that you would like to be in harmony, for example? And then we feel that this ego mind at this moment, this I, me, that feels quite important, is quite big and feels very special. My needs did not get fulfilled, and the hurt actually increases if you stay in the my needs did not get fulfilled. So don't manipulate anything, just look, just observe. Be courageous, look at the pain. And this kind of feeling of, I am special. My needs have to get fulfilled. And we feel quite isolated from the rest of the world like this. When we feel the poor me, then we're all alone, abandoned. If you have tears in your eyes, it's okay. Let them come. Life is painful. Life is not just only complicated, as Yael says. It's painful because we have so many expectations. But then we start to see a little bit in a more realistic way. And we think, if I look at myself, I find myself so terribly important. But actually, in reality, me, I am just a tiny, 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 tiny particle in this universe. And again, you know, you can have different reactions to this idea. So look at the reaction. How do you react to this idea? Very often it makes you very spacious. Because it is as if, you know, with an internal camera, we're flying out into the world. First, there was only one in the focus. And now the camera is going above, 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 above. We see the other people around us. Of our town, city where we are, of the country, of the continent, and then of the whole planet, and finally of the whole universe. Can we find ourselves somewhere there? So to think like this can be liberating, but it can also be kind of, you know, it puts you even lower down. Then this is not the right way to think. In general, this is realistic. Why do I have to take myself so important? And this is creating all the problems. So then again, you know, we think about all these other beings. And when I say all, I am included in there. Not as an individual, but as a part of a whole, of so many. It's wonderful. I don't have to be special. I can just be myself. I don't have to be especially good, especially successful, especially this and that. So we think about all these beings, we include ourselves and we go like, may all these beings, and to make sure that you are there and myself, may we all be safe. May all these beings and myself be protected from physical and mental harm. Because even though we can work with it and even though we have to practice patience, but it doesn't mean that people should be harmed. This is not normal. May we all be protected from physical and mental harm. Just work with the thought, don't manipulate anything. May all these beings and myself, may we all be strong, healthy, free from fear, loving and peaceful. And may all these beings and myself live our lives with joy and ease. Even if outside situations are difficult. Human mind is so powerful. If we see reality as a dependent arising, nothing exists without a reason. We can let go wanting to control everything, and we can go along with the flow and accept whatever is there and still see the good side in the difficult situation. May we all be able to live our lives with joy and ease. All right. Well, thank you very, very much. Have a good week where all your needs will get fulfilled. This is totally unrealistic, so don't even hope for it. Hi, Ronnie. I didn't see you before. Hello. So where, you know, and but you know, again, what we can do, we can be kind to others, we can be friendly to others, we can, if we need to criticize them, you know, then again, look at the 3 things. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Before you open your mouth. Yeah, that's another good thing. Is it necessary? Okay. Are you joyful and at ease?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Truthfully?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for listening to me. And the weekend we will have a Buddhist course actually, which will be, especially if you want to know the stages of Buddhism, I think that would be helpful, but it is Buddhist. So, you know, so, but it will be quite a good introduction, an overview over the whole Buddhist path. I think this is maybe how I will make it, especially for the people who are new, so that then you see how the things actually fit together, hopefully. I mean, this is the plan. I'll see if it turns out like this. If you are interested.
Tammy will be the manager of the course.
Huh?
And Tammy will be the manager of the course this time.
Tammy, okay. Oh, Tommy, I wanted to ask you also, since we're still here, for the others, maybe if you need to go, that's fine. It's not interesting for you. Do you still want to do once a month Lama Chöpa in Tibetan and English? Are you still interested?
I'm still interested, but everything is...
Because it's fine, you know, from our side, we can do it because as you saw, you know, there's very few participating anyway. And so that would be, then you can put it on your website. So maybe you have to tell Irit. I think it's on the 10th of November.
It is on our website, I think.
It's already on the website. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
good. So I'll check again, but it was.
Okay.
It still is.
So we will continue to do that always on the 25th of the Tibetan month, which is around, you know, 10th, 12th, 11th. Then we'll do it in English and in Tibetan. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you're very welcome. So have a good week and take care. Stay healthy and be happy and bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
תודה רבה לכולם שהשתתפו ונתראה בשבוע הבא.
ביי, תום.